A few hundred or even a few thousand years ago, men in their early 20s were kings. Their acquaintances and friends benefited from having friends who became kings. These men were conquering nations and making those nations pay taxes to them. Why was this so? Because they were getting knowledge that was only restricted to the top 1% of the people in those nations. And books in those times were very scarce. Philosophers and writers in those early years were studying various subjects about life. All their findings were being provided to the kings, and the kings shared their wisdom with their friends. And their friends used that knowledge to apply it and to become wealthy, because that knowledge contained in it wisdom that, if applied, can make anyone rich. Most people in those nations were poor because they lacked knowledge, because the knowledge that the philosophers of those countries were discovering was only limited to the philosophers and their families, and also to the kings and their friends and the families of those people. So those people were becoming wealthy at a rapid rate. But now things are different. Now everyone has access to books. Authors and writers are writing books about all kinds of subjects each and every day. So becoming successful now has become very easy because knowledge is abundant. The problem with knowledge being abundant is that people become lazy. People are distracted, because when men are shown or given many options to choose something, it becomes very difficult for them. Because if I bring two items and I say choose between this and this, it's going to become very easy for you to choose between those two items. If I bring in 100 items, it's going to be very difficult for you to choose just one thing, because now you have to consider the color, the shape, and etc. And at the end of the day, you might end up not making a decision. There are infinite ways of becoming a millionaire. There are infinite ways of becoming a billionaire. There are infinite ways of finding happiness. There are infinite ways of building your relationship with God, because knowledge is abundant in today's world. But people are lazy. People are distracted. People prioritize the wrong kinds of knowledge. They prioritize information that distracts them away from their true purpose. And this is by design. It is not a mistake, because now, if you can control a person's mind, you can control their life, you can control their behaviors. The wars that were being fought 1,000 years ago are still the wars that are being fought today. Just that today they're using different weapons. They're using applications. They're using information to keep people distracted. They're using information to keep people from growing and becoming their best selves. Because back then you had to use weapons to conquer nations. You had to force people to work for you. You have to force people to pay taxes to you. But now everything is different, because they understand that if you can tap into someone's mind, if you can hack their mind, if you can hack their priorities, hack their purpose, then you derail them for life. You make it difficult for them to reach and to level up in life. So everything that you see in today's world is by design. It's not by mistake that people are distracted. It's not by mistake that people are prioritizing instant gratification and pleasures and the likes. It is by design. It is designed so, because now think about it. How do countries conquer other countries during Cold War? They use information. If you can make sure that a country loses its morality, if you can make sure that a country loses its values, if you can make sure that a country doesn't prioritize the most important things in life, then you can conquer that nation and take all its resources while everyone is being busy fighting life and handling life's issues. And this is what we are seeing in today's world. This is what you see, especially with the developing nations, as they like to call them. Most of the people are distracted with information. Whenever governing bodies, whenever countries want to conquer other countries, they come with information. They come with information to indoctrinate those nations. They usually target things like religion. They usually come up with topics that will help to divide people. And if you can divide a house, then it's easy for you to conquer that house, because people are fighting among themselves. So you don't have to enter there and fight everyone. You just enter there and fight maybe one person is going to give you trouble. But otherwise, everyone is distracted. In today's world, information is used to distract people. Why? Because now information on everything is available. It's easy for you to learn anything. It's easy for you to learn a skill and become wildly successful in anything in life. So hence why countries are fighting hard to come up with apps to distract people. So in a world where distractions are everywhere, in a world where people are losing themselves, they are losing their minds, great opportunities exist. Because most people are distracted, then it means there's a lot of money being left on the table. So this is where you come in. Now, to level up in life, you have to learn. You have to have specific knowledge. You have to know specific things about specific skills and prioritize doing those skills, because to develop and grow in anything that is meaningful in life, you have to understand that it's going to take time. You won't change your situation in a day. You won't change your situation in a week. You have to show up consistently. Being successful in any area in life is like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym today and lose all your weight tomorrow if you're trying to lose weight. In the same way that you would go to a gym consistently over a period of months and years to lose weight, you have to show up consistently in order to become smarter. You have to show up consistently in order to grow your relationship with God. You have to spend a lot of time every day with God. And that's how you grow to understand God. Spend a lot of time reading God's word. That's how you grow to understand God. As people, we like new things, we like flashy things, we like things that are going to keep us distracted. So showing up consistently is what's really important. Showing up consistently is what's going to bring you success, because if you can show up and do the boring things that no one wants to do, then you'll be above everyone else and you will be a winner. If you show up to the gym more than everyone else, if you show up to the gym consistently, if you do it for 3 years, then you're more likely to be successful in your journey of like getting into shape. So the same applies to business, the same applies to your relationship. If you want to be victorious in your relationship, you have to apply pressure, you have to be intentional with the effort that you put in. You have to be consistent and disciplined in what you're doing, and then you will see the results of your effort. You will not always feel like doing the most important things in life. So that's where the challenge exists. Motivation is a myth. You only feel motivated to do something when you start doing it. For example, let's say you want to wash dishes. When you look at the dishes, you're like, I don't feel motivated to do it. But the moment you go to the dishes and you start washing the dishes, you'll feel motivated to finish up the thing that you have started. So the same principle applies with everything. Don't focus on like finding motivation before you can start. Just focus on starting. And it's only when you're starting that you'll be motivated to finish up what you've started. Knowledge is more abundant in today's world. There's a lot of knowledge that's keeping people distracted. So you just need to read a few books and apply the knowledge contained in those books, like the old people did, and then you'll become successful. If you read a lot of books, then you'll be distracted, you won't be able to focus, your brain will have so much wisdom and you're not applying anything. Look out for people that are successful in life. Look at the steps that they're applying in those areas. Let's say, because people can be successful like in terms of like making money and suck at relationships. Others can be successful in like relationships and suck in like their spirituality and etc. Look for different characteristics in different people and then compile those characteristics to make your ideal self, or to make an ideal model of yourself that you can follow to like level up in life. So you don't have to apply everything from one person. Some people are good at one thing and they're horrible at other things. So if you can find someone who's good at most things, then follow their advice, because that advice is the one that will make you successful. Now you have the ability to sit in rooms with the most successful people in the world, because now you have things like YouTube, you have things like virtual meetings, you have social media. Now you're able to virtually mingle and to be in rooms of the most successful people. Our ancestors didn't have this opportunity, so consider yourself blessed. So now and forever will remain the best opportunity to level up in life, because knowledge is out there. So seek it and love it and apply it, and then you'll find success in your life. Have yourself a prosperous day. Cheers.